This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so in our last session, you have seen the integration of MM with FI, which means we have discussed about the procure to pay cycle. In this session, we will see the integration of SD with FI, sales and distribution with financial model. Okay, so similar to procure to pay cycle, which is required whenever you want to procure any material, when you want to purchase any material from the vendor. So in MM, you create a PO, PR, and then you receive the goods, and finally you receive the invoice. That was about the procure to pay cycle. Similar to that, we also have order to cash cycle, which is related to sales order, which is related to sales and distribution module, that is SD. So similar to procure to pay, we need to understand now what is order to cash cycle, okay, which is part of SAP SD module. Okay, so in order to cash cycle, this is related to sales. Whenever we are doing the sales, so what normally happens during the sales cycle is we already discussed FB70 transaction. In FB70 transaction, what we do, we directly debit the customer and book the revenue. But now sometimes this sales doesn't directly starts in FI. We don't directly book the invoice in FI. There are some transactions which you need to carry out before the sales transaction, right? So before directly creating the FI invoice, let's say customer has customer has given you the sales order. Okay, so you need to create the sales order in the system, then you need to deliver the material to the customer, and finally you will be doing the billing. Okay, so when we say order to cash cycle, it normally starts with the inquiry from the customer. Okay, customer will inquire, customer will say, okay, I am looking for this material, can you provide me this? Based on the inquiry, you can quote to the customer. Okay, you can say, yes, we provide this material and we will be providing you at this particular cost. Okay, based on the quote, customer will give you purchase order. So customer will give you purchase order because you are a vendor for that particular customer. But in your system, you are not going to create that purchase order. For you, it is a sales order. Because you are selling, you will create a sales order in the system. Based on the sales order, you received the order from the customer. In the order, customer has told you what material is required, when it is required. So based on the date on which the material is required by the customer, you will deliver the material. So you will pick the material, you will pack the material, you will perform the delivery. So there are a lot of activities that you will do which are uh, based on the warehouse. Okay, so whatever activities you do in the warehouse, like picking, packing, delivering, and finally you will do the PGI, post goods issue. So you will tell the system that yes, the uh, stock has already gone out of your system and it is ready for delivery to the customer. Finally, you will do the billing. So you'll bill to the customer, and once the billing is done, you are expecting the payment from the customer. Okay, so this is order to cash cycle. It starts with normally inquiry, or you can directly start with the sales order. So when we say order to cash, it means starting from the sales order till the time you receive the payment in the form of cash. Okay, or it can be in the form of bank also, but normally it is referred to as O2C cycle. Right? Now again, what we need to know is we need to know what are the accounting entries at different stages. So what will happen when the inquiry is created? Inquiry is just a simple uh, process in which there is no accounting entry. Okay, if some customer is asking you, can you provide me this material? He is not dealing with any financial transaction. It is just the inquiry. Similarly, when you are quoting to the customer that yes, we can provide you this material, this is also not the accounting transaction. So no accounting entry. When you are creating the sales order in the system, again, nothing is going out, nothing is coming in, so no accounting entry. Okay, now when you pick the material, pack, deliver, again, for these three things, there will not be any accounting entry. The accounting entry will only come when you say PGI. PGI means you are issuing the goods out of the stock. So at the time of PGI, there will be the accounting entry because your stock is going out, right? So stock is going out means stock would be credited. So the question is, if the stock is going to be credited, which account is going to be debited? Right? I need a debit and credit. So normally in PGI, COGS account is an account which is debited. Okay, COGS is nothing but cost of goods sold. Okay, so let's take an example. Let's take the scenario in which you receive the order from the customer and the sales price that you are charging to the customer is 1200. Okay, just for example, and your cost at which you purchase this material or whatever inventory valuation is you are having is 900. Okay, again just for example. So you are selling at 1200 and your cost is 900. So 1200 minus 900 is nothing but your profit. Okay, so what will be done is when you are issuing the material, the COGS will be booked at 900 because this is your cost of goods sold. Okay, so just remember there is no profit entry that you are making separately. You are making the entry of cost and you are making the entry of sales in the revenue. Okay, I'll talk about that. So COGS debit to stock credit, this will be the accounting entry at the time of PGI. What will happen after PGI? You can see billing. You'll be carrying out the billing. So what will happen at the time of billing now? When you bill to the customer, again there will be the accounting entry. This time, because you are billing to the customer, so customer will be debited because you need to collect this amount from the customer, and the corresponding entry would be revenue account. So revenue would be credited. Okay, so you are generating the revenue. So taking this example, what will happen? COGS will be debited by 900. So stock also will be credited by 900. Customer would be debited by 1200 because you are selling this material to the customer at 1200, right? So your revenue will become again 1200. So revenue is 1200 and your cost was 900. Okay, so revenue minus COGS is giving you profitability. So there is a profitability of 300. Okay, so this is a order to cash cycle which starts with inquiry or directly from sales order and which ends at the payment. So at the time of payment, again, what will happen? You will get the payment from the customer. So your bank account will get debit because money is coming in, and your customer account, which you debited earlier here, will get credited. Okay, so customer would be credited. So this is the overall order to cash cycle. Now let's try to see how exactly these things will happen in the system. Okay, so we will not create inquiry, quote and all, because as I told you, these are all sales related entries and we don't have any integration of inquiry and quote to our FI. We have the integration starting from PGI and delivery, PGI and billing, sorry. So what we will do is we will directly create the sales order in the system. Now, in order to create a sales order, we use transaction VA01. VA01 to create, VA02 to change, and VA03 to display. Okay, and for PGI or for delivery and all other things, we will use transaction VL01N. This is a transaction for PGI and delivery. Okay, for billing, we will use transaction VF01. Again, VF01 to create, VF02 to change, and VF03 to display. And finally, payment, the same transaction that we used earlier to receive the payment from the customer, it was F-28, right? So we need to carry out these things in the system now. So let's proceed to the system and we will start creation of sales order. Okay, so sales order, then PGI, then billing, and finally pay. This is the process that we want to see in the system. So let's go to the first thing is creation of sales order, which I'll do using transaction VA01. Okay, now here we need to provide the order type. Okay, similar to in FI, we know document types which help us in identifying what kind of transaction it is. In sales, we have the sales order document type. Okay, so the standard sales order document type is OR. We will use that OR, and here we need to provide the sales organization information. Sales organization information means which sales organization is selling the material. So similar to company code in FI, any transaction whenever you are doing from FI, you have to specify the company code. Similarly, any transaction when you are doing in sales, you have to specify the sales organization. So my sales organization is SL02, distribution channel S2 and division S2. Just press enter. Okay, here system will ask you who is the customer. So sold to party is nothing but customer. You have to specify the customer number here. So in my case, we already created one customer 71. Okay, and please make sure, if you remember, we discussed during the creation of customer and business partner that there are 3 segments in the customer master. Okay, so if you want to use this customer for your sales organization, you have to extend the third view also of sales organization, right? So sold to party, customer reference is a mandatory field. I just enter some reference. Normally, this is a PO number that you got from the customer. Okay, so I'm just entering test here. Payment terms, like when are you going to collect the payment from the customer? So let's say it is paid immediately. I will go for payment term 0001. Another important thing is this Incoterms. This is also the mandatory field. Okay, so just enter CFR here. We don't need to go into detail of this. Just enter CFR. Okay, press enter. If the system is asking you this location, again just enter test. Okay, so header part is done now. This is the header part, and then there are lines here. Here we need to specify which material are we going to sell to the customer. So I'll use the same material which we used during purchase, ABC. Okay, I will just sell one quantity, and let's say I'm selling it at 1200 currency units. Okay, so plant is SL02. Let's press enter and see if there is any other information which is required. If not, so our sales order is ready. Okay, so once again, what we entered in the sales order, which customer needs this material, which material, what would be the payment terms, how much quantity, what would be the price. Okay, so let's click on save. So you can see sales order number 237 has been saved. So we already created the sales order number, which is 237. Let's go to the next procedure, which is VL01N to deliver this material to the customer. Okay, so let's go to VL01N. Okay, you can see this is create outbound delivery. So here you need to enter shipping point. Okay, automatically now SL02, and you need to enter the date of delivery. So this you will be able to know in the sales order. When you created a sales order, if you go to sales order screen again and instead of VA01, if you try VA03, okay, to display the sales order number 237, press enter. If you double click on this line and go to schedule lines, okay, here system will know what is the delivery date, when exactly we need to deliver this material to the customer. So this same date delivery, you have to enter it here. Okay, please make sure that you are entering the same date. What will happen otherwise, the system will not allow you to deliver the material. If you try any other date, system will not allow you to deliver that material. Okay, so let's press enter. Now here you have to specify the storage location from where you are issuing this material. So my storage location is same, which is SL02. Okay, and pick quantity. I need to pick only one quantity. Okay, because the order quantity is 1, so I want to pick this one quantity, and then click on PGI, post goods issue. Okay, click on post goods issue. You will get a message that delivery has been saved. Okay, now when this delivery was saved, we are expecting what posting? We are expecting the posting COGS debit to stock account credit. How can we check whether this posting is done or not? So what I'll do is I'll go to the order itself, same order, order number 237. Let's come out. There is a button called as document flow, display document flow. The purpose of this button is it will tell you with respect to this sales order what activities are already done. So we have already created a sales order, we have created a picking, and we have done the post goods issue. So that thing you'll be able to see if you click on this button. Let's click on this. So whatever activities are done till now against the sales order, all that information will be available. Okay, so the delivery has been created, goods issue is done, and the picking request is also created. So just select this goods issue and click on display document. Okay, you can see it is taking you to the material document. Okay, display material document. And if you want to know what are the accounting entries, click on FI documents. Okay, double click on accounting documents. And you can see stock is credited and COGS account has been debited. Okay, so stock is getting credited and COGS account is getting debited. Now the question is how system is determining these two GL accounts. How system is determining the stock account and how system is determining the COGS account. So if you remember earlier also in procurement process, in procure to pay process, we already discussed how the stock accounts get picked. It gets picked from configuration called as OBYC, and within OBYC, BSX. In BSX, based on the valuation class, okay, we discussed that. What is valuation class? You can find this valuation class in the material master. So based on this valuation class, system will determine this GL account. Same logic is applicable in case of outbound delivery also. Same logic is applicable in case of this particular document. Let me see where is the document. No. Maybe I closed it. Okay, so if I open it again, VA03, okay, order number 237, go to document flow, okay, in document flow, click on goods issue, display document, and here click on FI document. Okay, double click on accounting documents, you'll be able to see stock account and COGS account. So the stock account is also coming from BSX. Even you can see it here also, from where exactly this account is getting determined. So what you need to do is click on this change layout, okay, and you can bring column called as transaction. Not this one, only transaction. It is taking same. Okay, let's let's sort this and go to the T part where you'll be able to see the transaction. You can see this transaction, just bring it on this side. Okay, so that it is visible here. You can see here, so system is determining the stock account based on the key BSX from OBYC. And you can also very clearly see this COGS account is getting determined from GBB, again from OBYC itself. Okay, so let me show you that. Let's go to OBYC, and in OBYC instead of BSX, we need to go for GBB. Okay, so GBB, double click here, and here you can see based on three fields: valuation modifier, general modifier, and valuation class. System is able to determine the GL accounts. Okay, so in our case, again, let's go and see whether we have the plant available here or not. Valuation modifier is nothing but plant. I don't think we have any plant available here. Okay, so our plant is not available here, which means for us, the settings without plant are applicable. Now, out of this, which is the COGS account? I think COGS account is VAX. If you just do F4, it will not show you, but VAX is a general modifier for cost of goods sold. Okay, so many times what happens is when you are trying to create a delivery document, or whenever your SD counterpart, SD users are trying to create a delivery document, they get the error that there is no GL account maintained in this configuration. So what you need to do, you need to come here and you need to maintain this combination. You can see for VAX, valuation class is 3000, we already know. System is determining this 893010 account. Let's see if it is correct. No, it is 4 5 times 0. So let's see which is that combination which is determining this. It is this one, I think VBR. It is not VAX, it is VBR. Okay. Now, if you ask me question, how can we know whether VBR is related or VAX is related? This you will get by the confidence. This will, when you try to post, whenever you get the errors, based on that you will be maintaining this. Okay, so maybe what you can do is you can also try by removing this line from here, and then system will throw error. It will tell you there is no combination maintained for VBR, valuation class. Then you have to come here and you have to maintain this configuration. Okay, so this is how the GL accounts for outbound deliveries are getting determined. Okay, so we created a sales order, then we done the delivery, and the next one is we need to do the billing. Okay, we need to bill to the customer because we have delivered the goods. We need to now generate the billing. So for that, we will go for transaction VF01. Now in this VF01, normally these SD guys, they use the delivery document because this invoice that you are creating, this is based on this delivery document. So you will get a delivery document here, just press enter. If you are getting this warning messages, just keep on pressing enter. No need to worry about these warning messages. And then you will be able to see this invoice. Okay, so just come here and click on save. System will be able to generate the invoice. Again, just ignore these warning messages, keep on pressing enter, and then you will get this message that invoice has been generated. So now this invoice has been created. Okay, what you can do to see the invoice document, you can go to VF03. VF01 is for creation, VF03 is for display. Okay, and here you can see accounting tab. In the accounting tab, it will clearly tell you which accounts were used for the billing. So you can see customer account. Okay, customer is debited and revenue account is credited. Okay, now this customer account will come from the customer reconciliation account. When you created a customer, at that time, whatever reconciliation account was assigned to this customer, that would get debited. This revenue account is not determined from OBYC. It is determined from another transaction, which is integration between FI and SD, and that transaction is VKOA. Okay, there is a transaction called as VKOA, which is an integration of SD with FI. Now in VKOA, you can determine the revenue account. So why we use VKOA? We use VKOA just to determine this revenue account, this one, at the time of billing. Now there are multiple different ways in which you can determine this revenue account. Okay, so you can create different combinations. I will directly show you from here itself. So if I go to the accounting, or if I go to the billing document, so this is my billing document, just go for more, environment, and account determination analysis, and I want to know how the system has determined the revenue account. So click on this revenue accounts. Okay, and click on this condition PR00, which is a pricing condition. Right? If you double click on this, system will tell you how system has determined this GL account. So system was able to determine this GL account. Many times you get error. System is not able to determine the GL account. So you will not be able to see the GL account here. So what you need to do in that case is you can see excesses 10, 20, 30, 40. So system has first tried in 10. Let me show you what is 10. If you go to VKOA again, okay, this is VKOA. The first combination that system tried is this one. Okay, but in this one, system was not able to determine any GL account. Okay, you can see GL account is maintained based on the combination. So if my chart of account is this, if my sales organization is this, if my account category is this, there are different ways, right? So system was not able to determine from this. System was only able to determine from the fourth combination, which is this general. So here, these are fixed ones. Application will be always V, and condition type will be always KOFI. Chart of accounts in our case is INT, and our sales organization is SL02. Okay, so see if you are able to determine it here. We are not able to determine from here also, right? So this combination is also not working. So any one of this combination must work in order to determine the GL account. Let's see which combination is working for us. So if I try V, condition type COFI, chart of account INT, sales of SL02, yes, you can see this combination is working. System is determining the GL account from this combination. See what system will do in VKOA, you have different tables 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the standard things. This 15, 16, these are someone has created on their own. Normally, in the standard system, you will find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What system does is it starts with the first table. It will go and check if there is GL account maintained in this configuration. If no, it will go to the second. If no second, it will go to third, then fourth, and then finally to fifth. Even after these 5 tables, if the GL account is not determined, system will throw error. System will not be able to determine the revenue account in that case. Okay, so in this particular case, system is able to determine the GL account from this account key, and the GL account which got determined is 00300099. Okay, so just remember one thing. In case of billing, the accounting entry is customer account debit to revenue account credit. Customer account comes from the reconciliation account, which we mentioned in the customer master data, and revenue account gets determined from VKOA settings. Okay, so this is how the integration of SD and FI works. Okay, and finally, once the billing is completed, what you will do, you will make the payment to the, or you will receive the payment from the customer. Now, when you are receiving the payment from the customer, you will be using F-28, and you already know you can select the bank account and you specify from which customer you want to receive the payment. The accounting entry would be bank to customer based on the same configuration that we already done in case of normal FI postings for customer in AR, right? So this was about the order to cash cycle. In our next session, we will discuss about the other topics. Thank you.